Hola a todos. Today is another live Spanish lesson. So in the last 2 weeks, we looked at the present tense. We were looking at the differences with some of the AR, ER, and IR verbs, and also those differences in the past tense. And today we're going to look at the future tense and also some of the near future and compared with the present simple. Let me get a screen share here and you can take a look at some of these conjugation tables. So let me just go over here. Okay, so again, we have these subject pronouns, the yo, tú, vos, él, ella, usted, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, ellos, ellas, ustedes. And the endings are quite simple. You just have like the E with an accent, a forward accent, A with a forward accent, S, A with an accent, EMOS, E with an accent, IS, and A with an accent, N. So you'll just add these endings to the infinitive. If you happen to watch the other video for the future tense in Italian, that one had a little bit of a change to the ending, but here in Spanish, you don't change those endings. You just kind of keep the infinitive and then you add these endings on there. So like I will speak, yo hablaré, I will run, yo correré, you will speak, hablarás, you will run, correrás, he, she, you formal will speak, hablará, correrá, we will speak, we will run, hablaremos, correremos, you plural will speak, you will run, hablaréis, correréis, and they, you formal plural, will run, hablarán or correrán on there. And so I can have a question here. Sorry, typo there. ¿Hablarás español? So will you speak Spanish? Sí, hablaré español. And no, no hablaré español. Like I refuse, I negate it. Okay. There are about 12 verbs that do change their stem. The endings are regular, except the stem changes. So these are verbs like caber, to fit, decir, to say, haber, which is to have as an auxiliary verb, hacer, to do or to make, poder, to be able to or can, poner, to put, querer, to want, saber, to know, salir, to go out, tener, to have in terms of possession, valer, like to have value, and venir, to come. So you'll see these, they'll change their stem, and usually it produces a like a consonant cluster with the letter R. Usually the vowel between the two consonants drops out. So for example, like cabre, dire, abre, are, podre, pondre, querre, sabre, saldre, tendre, valdre, vendre. So those would be those stem changes, but the endings would be regular. So you'll have for the tu or the vos form here, cabras, dirás, habrás, harás, podrás, pondrás, querrás, sabrás, saldrás, tendrás, valdrás, vendrás. For the he, she, usted form, cabrá, dirá, habrá, hará, podrá, pondrá, querrá, sabrá, saldrá, tendrá, valdrá, vendrá. For the nosotros, nosotras forms, you'll have cabremos, diremos, habremos, haremos, podremos, pondremos, querremos, sabremos, saldremos, tendremos, valdremos, vendremos. And for the vosotros, vosotras form, you have cabréis, diréis, habréis, haréis, podréis, pondréis, queréis, sabréis, saldréis, tendréis, valdréis, vendréis. And for the he or for the they form and the ustedes form, Cabran, dirán, habrán, harán, podrán, pondrán, querrán, sabrán, saldrán, tendrán, valdrán, vendrán for that. So those are just these kind of 12 verbs that you have to be careful with in the future. And another way to express the future is with a near future form, which is very similar to going to, the way that is constructed. So you'll use the verb ir in the present tense, and you'll add the letter a, and then you'll have the infinitive. So like, I'm going to speak, voy a hablar. You are going to speak, vas a hablar. He, she, usted is going to speak, va a hablar. And usually this ah, especially with the example like hablar, it just gets one really long ah sound. So va hablar. You just kind of have to mark it with the breath a little bit of like va a hablar. Vamos a hablar. No, vosotros, vosotras vais a hablar. Ellos, ellas, ustedes van a hablar. So that's another form that's there. And you also can use the present simple if it's understood from the context that you're talking about the future. But I was talking with a native speaker yesterday and kind of asking questions about like, what are the main differences between these, of present simple, this near future with ir, and the future with these the one word with these endings there. And there wasn't really much of a distinction that she was able to tell me. It sounded very similar, but if I were making predictions about like if it's going to rain, probably I would use this va llover, and maybe a little less than using lloverá. Like it will rain, probably it's like it's going to rain. But in terms of the usage, yeah, some of these near future and present simple are very similar. I'll continue researching this and asking other native speakers to get their opinion on this, but this is basically what you need to know for this future tense in the Spanish. I'm going to move over to the Wiktionary, to this table. This is, again, one thing that I usually like to look at for these conjugation tables, but so far from these lessons, you have the present tense. We've looked at the preterite, the past tense, and today we were looking here at the future. So just as you see here, these endings, and that for the moment, it covers mostly what you need to know to get your conversation started in Spanish. Eventually, you'll need to know the subjunctive or maybe the imperfect and some of the conditional forms. But right now, to just be able to talk about the present tense, past tense, future tense, you've got your bases covered on here. And so, yeah, I'll stop sharing my screen here. Okay, so, and if you have any questions or comments or suggestions for these lessons, please feel free to comment below the video and subscribe if you like these videos. And next week we'll be looking at a little bit of introductions, little words that people use in their phrases to sound a little more natural. So things like, oh, really, oh, interesting, or oh, probably, maybe, those kinds of little words. So I'm asking native speakers to help me with a list of those expressions, and we'll cover that next week. So thank you very much for watching, and have a good day.